Alright, what up YouTube? It's Plock the Master Gamer here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 5 best spells in Fable the Lost Chapters, and well, I guess Fable Anniversary. Now, this is relevant to Fable the Lost Chapters and not the original version of the game, because the first item on our list, number 5, is Infernal Wrath / Divine Fury. Now, they're basically both the same spell, except one is a good version and one is a bad version. As you can see here, with Divine Fury, we have our nice ring of blue light here, and then we do 20 damage to everybody around us, and it's just completely wicked. We just completely annihilate everybody. Now again, here's Infernal Wrath, basically the same thing, except you're fucking summoning demons and fire from the depths of hell, and doing the same thing at 20 damage to all these people. And this one's really good for clearing, you know, large areas of enemies. So like if you got like 10 enemies around you, and you just need to take care of them all real quick, this is a really good way to get rid of them. The next item on my list is Force Push, coming in at number 4. So, Force Push is pretty nice. If you find yourself, you know, choked out by a bunch of enemies and you find yourself in a situation where you can't do much about it, Force Push is a really good way to just get everybody to fucking get off you. And it also knocks them down for a bit, stuns them for a second or whatever, and you have time to react and really, like, you know, think about your next move. And it also actually does a pretty decent amount of damage. As you can see here, it's doing like, you know, 40 or so damage a piece. Actually, that guy took like 100 damage. Depends on how close you are and, you know, what their defense is and all that kind of stuff too. But as you can see here, it does actually do a significant amount of damage. I'm seeing like 80s and 90s there, 82. So it actually does do a decent amount of damage. So if you sit there and spam it, you can actually kill them. And they can't do much about it because, you know, they're stunned. They keep falling over. So it's a really good way to just fuck with a really large number of enemies. But you do have to be careful with it because it's not a targeted spell, so it will hit anything that is within range. So if you have friendly traders following you or something, you will be hurting them and you will get evil points for that. As well as if you're in a town or something, and let's say you're fighting some enemies in a town, if you do use this spell, you will end up destroying, you know, doors, windows, property, all that kind of stuff, and you will find the local authorities to be quite upset about those shenanigans, so you definitely want to be careful where you use this one. Now, the next item on my list is another double, so it's actually multi-strike and multi-arrow. Now, these are both very useful spells for the same reasons. Let's say it takes you a couple attacks to kill an enemy. If you have multi-strike, all you have to do is attack them once, and multi-strike will take over with the rest of the hits, and what would normally be a 3 or 4 hit kill now becomes a 1-hit kill. But also for the same reason, multi-arrow is also really useful because you shoot out multiple arrows at a time. This is also very useful for boss fights. When you're fighting Jack of Blades at the end, this is a very well-known tactic to use multi-arrow and to hit them from a distance, and it does a lot of damage. It really does. Let's see how much damage this thing does. 500 damage. That's just fucking insane. It really is. 180 because that guy was missing quite a bit already. So yeah, as you can see, it's just a really nice way to get 1-hit kills on something that you wouldn't normally be able to kill in 1 hit. And you know, it is just really useful if you're like a warrior build that doesn't like to actually use spells or something. This is a really nice utility spell for warriors. It's kind of like a self-buff spell almost, you know, it just kind of like increases your attack, but it's really nice because the successive attacks aren't blockable, so you get one attack in and they're just dead. The next item on the list is Slow Time, coming in at number 2. Now this is one of my favorite spells, which is why it made it so high up the list. Slow Time is useful for a number of reasons. As you can see, these guys are so slowed down that they barely even have time to react to my presence before I'm fucking miles away. This is very useful for a lot of scenarios in game. Of course, I'm not faster than those explosions. If you've actually seen my older videos, you will know that this is a really good tactic for completing the trader escort. You know, getting the traders to Oakvale. You just use Slow Time and you run past all the enemies, and they don't get hurt because they just don't have time to get attacked. Now you can see these enemies, they just don't even see me. Now it's not only good for evading enemies and running through areas, it's actually a really good way to get a lot of hits in and to just annihilate enemies before they even have time to react. So as you can see here, I made short work of that guy and didn't get hurt at all because he just didn't even have time to react. So this guy right here, he's just donezo. He didn't even have time to stop and turn around and hit me with one of those little things. See, this guy right here, he's like mid-step. Now, if you have a really high level, it's pretty easy to get a lot of hits in. However, they will eventually block you if they are, like, you know, skilled enough, or they have a sword or whatever. These guys don't really have a very fast attack, so they're not likely to block you, as you can see here. But, you know, the bandits will and other enemies will, but nonetheless, slow time is a very useful spell, and I find myself using it more than pretty much any other spell in the game. When you're fighting a bunch of tough enemies, especially later on in the game, I can't stress enough how much slow time comes in handy. I bet you're probably wondering, now what could possibly be the best spell in Fable the Lost Chapters? And I'll tell you what it is. The best spell in Fable the Lost Chapters, coming in at number 1, is Physical Shield. Now, there's a lot of reasons why Physical Shield is the best spell in the game. One of the main reasons is the fact that it's pretty much the only way to just get insane combat multipliers. Now, this, in conjunction with slow time, is one of my favorite spell combinations in Fable the Lost Chapters or Fable Anniversary or whatever game it may be. It's just a completely unstoppable combination. You never take any health damage, and your combat multiplier just keeps going up and up and up. If you're ever wondering how I get just shitloads of experience while grinding, this is what I do. I do slow time over and over again, and I make sure that I have my physical shield going, and I make sure that I have a nice supply of mana potions, and I'm just drip feeding myself mana potions anytime I take too much damage. But it's an extremely useful spell, not only for being able to maximize your combat multiplier, but also just for being able to survive battles and conserve health. I find myself never even using health potions in this game, just because I'm always using physical shield and I never take any health damage because I'm only using mana for health regeneration. And if I understand correctly, I think mana potions are not only more plentiful, but they're also cheaper than health potions. So it works out economically for a lot of reasons. Not only the fact that you just get tons and tons more experience because your combat multiplier, it never goes down. It really sucks to not have physical shield when you're trying to get your combat multiplier even higher. So yeah, just because of how useful this is in so many different scenarios, I have to say that Physical Shield is the #1 best spell in Fable the Lost Chapters. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys leave a like if you did, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you want to see more of this content or any of my other gaming content. I will also be releasing like a part 2 of this video, which will be the worst spells in Fable. I only did a top 5, so there's quite a few that didn't make the list. Not saying that they're all bad, but there's definitely a few that are just completely terrible and in my opinion almost useless. So anyways, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.